What's up, YouTube? I'm back. It's Damien with Clean Mud Videos, and you already read the title, so you know what this video is about. But before we dive in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, at the end of this video, if you like it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Also, share the video so that more people can see this content. Let me give you the rundown of how I'm gonna run through this video. I want to give you the format. So the first thing, what we'll do, we'll name the pieces that you need in order to start your home recording studio, and then afterwards I'll go back and explain or kind of give my take on which pieces I think you should invest in. Let's go ahead and start this thing off. In your home recording studio, you'll need some sort of a computer. You'll also need a DAW, which is a digital audio workstation. You'll also need some sort of an interface. You'll need some studio monitors or studio grade headphones. You'll need a microphone. And to go with the microphone, you'll need a microphone stand. You'll need a shock mount possibly. And you'll also need some sort of a pop filter. And to go along with your microphone, you may need to purchase some other cables, XLR cables. And if you're interested in doing any type of production or beat making, you may want to invest in a MIDI controller. It's not necessary, but it can be helpful. And in making all of these beats, you're gonna need some place to store it. So you probably more than likely want to invest in some sort of external hard drive, whether that's your standard HD drive or an SSD drive. So let's go ahead and talk about the computer. Okay, so as far as the computer is concerned, I would say get nothing less than about 8 gigabytes of RAM. And the more RAM you have in the computer, the more efficiently that your computer will run. And if you have multiple screens open, it kind of helps you to navigate through those screens a little bit quicker and to be able to have more things open working. And then also for your hard drive space, it's not a necessity that you would get something with a large amount of hard drive space like 1 terabyte or 500 gigabytes. I would suggest not to get anything lower than about 256 gigs of internal memory. And if you're looking at something like a hard drive or an SSD drive, SSD drives are normally faster, but you will pay a lot more. And when it comes to the computer, my suggestion is that you should go out for your first setup. I would recommend that you get some sort of a laptop over a desktop. And the reason being is that my job, and let's start with my job. My job, I'm a barber, so in between clients, I can take my computer and I can work on music. That's just something that you can't do with if you had just a desktop that you're just stuck somewhere. You could take it, but who wants to pack around a whole desktop computer? But it will give you the flexibility. Say if it's somebody who's helping you with your production, you can just pack your laptop up and say your external hard drives and take them with you and go wherever you want to go. Or it allows you to be able to work in different rooms. If you wanted to go to the park, you could take your laptop to the park. Just something that is more flexible. So for your first setup, I would recommend that you would get a laptop over a desktop. Now let's talk about your DAWs. Those things could be pretty subjective. I would say find something that will allow you to be able to work free. I think on Mac you have GarageBand. I think in PC, I think Audacity or something like that's free or cheap or something. You just want to find something to make it work. The bigger names that you get, more companies make more programs more programs are compatible with your main DAWs like Ableton, Logic, Pro Tools, FL Studio. I know I'm missing some other ones, Studio One or whatnot. But yeah, so in picking a DAW, get something that is just you may just have to do your own research on that. But yeah, so I don't think any of the DAWs that they make now are lagging a whole lot that you couldn't get a song recorded or get an album recorded. So I don't think you'll have any issue in that area. And then moving on, to control your DAW, you'll need some sort of an interface. And one of the cheaper interfaces that I would recommend is something like the Evo. And as you see right here, the Evo 4 is, or if you've probably seen in some of my other videos, the Evo 4 is a pretty decent interface. It's not the best, it's not the worst. It does have, I don't know, some things that I really don't care for with this, but as far as sound quality and cheap, when you say cheap and quality, I think this thing hits the nail on the head for the most part. I would recommend the Evo 4 over something like a Scarlett Solo. I just like the sound that comes from the Evo 4 a lot better. And it may be a larger learning curve with something like the Evo 4, but if you're just starting out, it won't be too hard. It's not something that you can't work through. And then also, going into the interface, I would say get something that you're able to hear on. So if you don't want to keep headphones on, you will need some sort of studio monitors. And these monitors that I have right here are the iLoud from a company called IK Multimedia. I'm not sure what they run right now, but I think I may have paid about $300 for these things. They're small and they do put out a nice sound. So you'll need some type of studio monitor, or you could use some sort of a headphone. And these headphones are the Sennheiser HD 280 Pro, and they are 64 ohm, and they do work on this interface right here. Also, moving on, you'll also need some sort of a microphone, and this right here is the LCT 240 Pro, and it's a condenser microphone. So with the condenser microphone, what happens is, well, with this particular condenser microphone, it's super sensitive and it does pick up a lot of noise. So if your room is not treated, you may want to go starting off with something like a dynamic microphone. And a dynamic microphone won't pick up as much noise in the room as something like a condenser microphone. Sometimes with condenser microphones, you can make a sound. So like right now I have, you probably can't hear it, but I'm using this clip-on microphone, but my neighbor is cutting grass, so you can hear the lawnmower going. And sometimes with a condenser will pick a lot of those things up, and your dynamic microphone really won't pick up as much of those background sounds as your condensers will. But with a dynamic microphone, you will need something like a cloud lifter, and I think I do have one somewhere. So this right here is a cloud lifter, so you'll need something like a cloud lifter to go along with a dynamic microphone. And your dynamic microphone starting off could be like a SM58, and the reason you'll need the cloud lifter is because the dynamic microphones, with them not picking up as much room noise or picking up as much volume as your condenser microphone, the cloud lifter allows you to feed your microphone. I think that one particularly is 25 dB of gain, so you won't have to turn your preamp all the way up to get a sound out of that microphone. And then going along with your microphone, moving on, you'll need something to hold your microphone, which if you can see right here, I think you can see on camera, but you'll need some sort of a microphone stand, and I'm putting it in what is called a shock mount, and I'm not even sure if you can really see it, but anyway, it helps to absorb the sound. So especially like I'm on carpet, but especially if you're on something like just a regular wooden floor or something like that, if you bump the stand, it will absorb some of the sound. Not all of it in most cases, but it will absorb the sound, so you won't get those floor rumbles, low rumbles and stuff. So you will need some sort of a shock mount. You have your microphone stand, and then a pop filter. A pop filter comes in handy because when you're using a microphone, a lot of the times you might hear those plosives, and the plosives are the P's, the B's, different things or whatever, those wind noises coming through. And what the pop filter will do is allow those noises or the wind noises to hit the windscreen instead of hitting the microphone. So some people call it a pop filter, some people call it a windscreen, but same deal. But you will need one. And one thing that it also does is helps if the artist is rapping, it keeps them at a nice distance. So a lot of times you want to keep probably about a 8-inch distance away from the microphone when you are rapping. So the pop filter allows you to be able to do that. Okay, so for you producers, one of the things that you could need is possibly you could need a MIDI controller. And not necessarily do you need one, because there is a lot of people, or there are a lot of people who actually use the keyboard on their computer to trigger the notes inside of the DAW. I never do it, but there are people who they started out doing it, and it's just something that's normal to them. So some of your DAWs, I know, as far as I think GarageBand, Logic, I'm not sure about FL Studio, it probably is, but what it does is, as you see the keys right here, it transforms your computer keyboard into something like this. So you would trigger the notes of the keys and stuff or whatever by here, and yeah. So, but that's why I say you don't necessarily need a MIDI controller, but it can come in handy. For me, it came in handy because I never, and I don't even think I want to try to figure that out. But yeah, so, but some people do and make great beats, even make beats better than what I can make. So, but it's not about the tools that you have, it's about being able to use them. Yeah, and then so also as you are getting into making beats or just saving your projects, you may need something like one of these. So this is your standard hard drive, and this is your SSD drive. The hard drive is a little bit slower. It's also cheaper, so I would say starting off, get you a hard drive instead of the SSD drive. And this one is 2 terabytes. This is 1 terabyte. And the difference with them is the SSD drive has, if I remember right, no moving components inside of it. And you will hear this a tad bit, just kind of spinning from time to time, just as like loading. It's like whatever. But yeah, so the more affordable option for the more space, the bigger bang for your buck would be your hard drive over your SSD. But the SSD, the advantages of these things, they are a lot faster. With that being said, I think that's about it. One thing that I almost forgot to cover are the cables. So with each of these pieces of equipment that you purchase, they will more than likely come with cables, and the cables are pretty self-explanatory. The instructions are there for you with most of these pieces. One of the things that your microphone may not come with a cable. It may. I know if you get something like the Scarlett, the package or whatever, it gives you the microphone, the headphone. I think that comes with a cable. I think Blue microphones, some if not all of those microphones used to come with cables. I'm not sure about the new packaging, but yeah. So, and then all the cables, like I said, are pretty self-explanatory. The only thing you may need to go out, like I said, is probably an XLR microphone. And then if you are hooking something like this, you'll probably need to grab 2 XLR microphones so that you can run the mic into here and then from here to your microphone. So, and I think that about covers it. You are also, in case you want to have more of your as you can see, USB connections, your computer will be limited. So this laptop has a total of 2. This laptop has a total of 2 USB connections, but they do have USB hubs. and a USB hub will allow you to take that one connection, plug it in here, and however many hubs or how many connections that the hub has, it will allow you to be able to hook up that many more devices. So you'll plug it into this USB, and it may turn your 1 into 4, and you could, for this computer, get 2 of those, or one that has about 8 different connections into it. But they normally, I guess the cheaper ones are normally you put 1 in and then you will get 4 in return, so you basically get 3 extra. But yeah, other than that, I think that's it. Hopefully I covered everything. If you still have any questions, hit me up, let me know, and you know, we'll rap about it. So as you see, got the clean mud right there, and that's my Instagram. So hit me up on Instagram, and I will try my best to get back with you. So until the next video, I'm out, and I'll let you. Peace.